Welcome to the world of Speedlight, an innovative concept of Sekol Inc. that will revolutionize automotive safety and forever change the way we look at driving. Hello, my name is Dr. Edward Sekol. I've been practicing as a doctor of chiropractic for 30 years and have made thousands of treatments to the cervical spine for correction of whiplash caused by rear-end collisions. The head is violently jerked back and then snapped forward like cracking a whip. The minimum threshold speed for cervical spine injury is 5 miles an hour. 60% of the victims will need long-term medical care. 10% are totally disabled. And even at moderate speeds, many people die. I have always felt that there must be a way to prevent these accidents and save lives. After several years, I have perfected and patented the Speedlight. But first, let's take a quick look at present-day taillight systems. First, we have two taillights that are either on low intensity or high intensity and also function as turn indicators. Then there's the third brake light and reverse lights. So we know when the lights, brakes, or turn indicators are on or if the vehicle is in reverse. We have no other information. Are they parked, stopped, standing, accelerating, deaccelerating, in a panic stop, riding the brake, involved in an accident? How about when they are going 10 miles an hour on the freeway as you bear down on them doing 70 miles an hour? That's what happened to me with my wife and 2 young daughters in the car. It resulted in a 5-car accident with 2 cars totaled, including ours. By the grace of God, nobody died. There's no warning system. They have no protection. You have no protection. That is exactly why rear-end collisions are the most common type of auto accident in the world. In the United States, over 43,000 people die every year in automobile accidents, and nearly 1/3 of those accidents are rear-end collisions. That's about 2.5 million rear-end collisions each year in this country alone. Additionally, another 120,000 people per year suffer whiplash injuries. Despite all the advancements in the automotive industry, auto accidents rank as the 7th leading cause of death. Worse yet, the rate of fatal car collisions has remained essentially unchanged in over a decade. It's time for a new way of thinking, a new strategy, a change. And the name of that change is the Speedlight. The Speedlight is basically a speedometer mounted on the back of a vehicle. It displays the speed of the vehicle to the traffic behind it and visually distinguishes the difference between parked, stopped, standing, deacceleration, acceleration, panic stop, riding the brake, riding the turn indicator, or a vehicle involved in an accident, and it does it instantaneously. This is accomplished through an easy-to-read horizontal series of red LED lights on the back of the vehicle similar to a third brake light. It's activated or turned on whenever the vehicle is running. It illuminates at low intensity or running light intensity. Upon braking, it illuminates at high intensity or brake light intensity. The number of lights to illuminate is relative to the speed of the vehicle. If the vehicle is at a complete stop, the entire series of lights illuminates like this. If the vehicle is going very fast, only a few of the lights on each end, the far left and far right, will be illuminated. As the vehicle speed decreases during coasting or braking, more lights sequentially illuminate in from both ends towards the middle. The speed that the 2 lights grow together lets the following traffic see how fast the vehicle is slowing down. When the vehicle comes to a complete stop, the entire light strip illuminates. In the center of the Speedlight, there's one light called the panic light. The panic light is on low intensity whenever the Speedlight is on. There are only 2 times when the panic light goes to high intensity. One is during a panic stop, and the other is when the vehicle is completely stopped. A panic stop is when a vehicle is braking very hard and deaccelerating very fast. The threshold for panic deceleration is set at 15 miles per hour per second. This is faster deceleration than what occurs in most normal driving conditions and fast enough that the following traffic should be warned and prepared to respond. The panic light also illuminates at high intensity when the vehicle is completely stopped. This is extremely valuable when approaching a stopped vehicle where there's little time to react. Now let's see some of this in motion. This is a Speedlight representing a vehicle traveling 60 miles per hour. The lights are on from 60 miles per hour up to 90 miles per hour. For learning purposes, we added a digital speedometer to the screen so you can see how it relates to the Speedlight. While the vehicle is moving, the panic light will only go to high intensity during a panic stop. This can change quickly. The driver may start off coasting and deaccelerating slowly, then suddenly go into a panic stop for a second or two, then back to slow deceleration once the danger is passed. The panic light will only be on high when the rate of deacceleration exceeds 15 miles per hour per second. Now watch as the vehicle starts coasting, then goes into a panic stop for a few seconds, and then into normal braking until it comes to a complete stop. The Speedlight strip is composed of 18 LED lights on each side of the panic light. Each light of the strip represents a 5-mile-an-hour increment in speed. The range is 0 to 90 miles per hour. The first light nearest the panic light on each side represents 5 miles per hour. The next one, 10 miles per hour, then 15, and so on to the 90 mile per hour lights on each end. The 90 mile per hour lights actually represent 90 miles per hour or more because they stay illuminated even when the vehicle is traveling faster than 90 miles per hour. The panic light and the 90 mile per hour lights are always on. Here's a vehicle traveling at 90 miles per hour or more. Watch the digital readout and the speed light as we decelerate by coasting, which means no brakes and lights on low. Here's 85, now 80, 75, 70, 65, and so on. Now here's a vehicle doing 5 miles per hour. We have all the lights on each side of the strip on. Now let's lightly apply the brakes. The strip goes to high intensity, but the panic light remains on low intensity because this vehicle is still moving. When the panic light goes on high, we know the vehicle is completely stopped. Marker lights are set at specific points in the Speedlight strip so that reading the speed of the vehicle is instantaneous. They are at the 30, 60, and 90 mile per hour positions. They are yellow and larger than the rest of the lights, but not as large as the panic light. Their oval shape makes them stand out, even for people who are colorblind. They operate the same as any other light in the strip. Marker lights make it easy to compare the speed of all the vehicles in front of us at a glance. Vehicles going too fast or too slow will be obvious and warn us of the potential danger of sudden lane changes or turns or possibly an accident. First, we will cover the stationary modes of the Speedlight. The Speedlight system allows us to distinguish between parked, standing, and stopped. A parked vehicle has the ignition off, the gear selector in park, and brakes off. This is basically a dead vehicle, and as you can see, there's nothing illuminated. For standing, the ignition is on, gear selector in park, and brakes off. The entire Speedlight strip is on low intensity, with the panic light on high and taillights off. When the driver applies the brakes to shift into gear, the entire Speedlight and taillights go on high, warning traffic and pedestrians that this vehicle is in the stopped mode and is capable of moving at any time. The difference between parked, standing, and stopped is obvious. Another stationary mode of the Speedlight system is parked with the brakes on. Again, we have the ignition off and gear selector in park, but now the brakes are on. With the ignition off, the Speedlight is off. However, brake lights work even when the ignition is off, therefore the taillights are on high intensity. If this vehicle did not have a Speedlight, it would appear to be stopped and ready to move. With the Speedlight, we know the vehicle isn't running and can't move. The last stationary mode of the Speedlight system is accident mode. If a vehicle's airbags or rollover sensors are activated, the entire Speedlight system and vehicle hazard warning lights automatically go into a flashing mode on high intensity. This overrides everything and will work in any gear at any time, even with the ignition off. Now let's look at the modes of the Speedlight with the vehicle moving. We added a display that indicates if the vehicle is accelerating, deaccelerating, or at a constant speed. The up arrow is faster, down is slower, and constant is the blue bar. First, we have a vehicle driving at a constant speed of 60 miles per hour with no braking. The Speedlight strip is on low with a static light display indicating the speed of the vehicle. The panic light is on low, the taillights are off. This is a video clip starting at 60 miles per hour and decelerating by coasting. There's no braking, so the strip is on low with lights slowly illuminating sequentially in from the ends relative to the rate of deceleration. The panic light is on low, the taillights are off. Next we have decelerating from 60 with braking. The strip is on high, with lights quickly illuminating in from the ends, showing the rate of deceleration. The panic light is on low. The taillights are on high because the brakes are on. Now we have panic deceleration from 60 miles per hour with very hard braking. The speed light strip is on high and growing together rapidly. The panic light is activated to high and the taillights are on high. Now let's view coasting, braking, and panic stop simultaneously. Coasting is the top speed light, braking is in the middle, and panic stop is on the bottom. Here you'll see the differences in lighting patterns and speed of deceleration. Notice the difference in the panic light on the bottom two. This next clip is going to show normal acceleration starting from 0. There is no braking. The speed light strip is on low with lights turning off sequentially out from the center relative to the rate of acceleration. The panic light is on low, the taillights are off. Riding the brake is easy to see with the speed light system. When a driver is riding the brake, the speed light will indicate the speed of the vehicle and we'll see when they accelerate or decelerate. The speed light also makes it easy to see when a car in front of you is likely to turn. Most cars turn corners between 10 and 20 miles per hour, so even if a car's turn indicator has been on a long time, you'll see them decelerate and know when they're going to turn. Riding the brake or turn indicator will be obvious with the speed light. But then again, the speed light makes it all so obvious. This is more than just a tail light. It's a speedometer, a deacceleration gauge, a complete warning system that lets you see everything that's happening or about to happen in front of you. Auto accidents are responsible for over 43,000 deaths per year with no foreseeable end in sight. We've all lost a friend or a loved one or have seen them crippled for life. This can change. The speed light will substantially reduce the number of automobile accidents. It will save lives and hundreds of thousands of people from whiplash injuries. The savings in healthcare dollars and property damage is immeasurable. This is destined to be one of the greatest breakthroughs in automotive safety in our lifetime. We are faced with the opportunity to make a difference, the opportunity to be part of the solution. My name is Dr. Edward Sekol. I thank you for your consideration and for taking the time to learn about the speed light.